Hi, my name's William Genereux. I'm an entertainment lawyer in Toronto, and I'm here today with Susan Abramovitch, and she's a partner at Gowlings LLP, also an experienced entertainment lawyer, and we're talking about music synchronization. And Susan, can you describe for us your observations on the bundles of rights that are involved when music is synchronized, or to put it in layman's terms, when sound recordings are coupled with visuals so that people can see movies and television? What's the legal stuff that's going on behind all that?
Thanks, Bill. The first thing to note, and a lot of people forget this when they don't necessarily work day in and day out in this industry, is that when a recording is synchronized with moving picture, there really are two rights to clear. There's the right in the recording, but of course within the recording is embodied a musical composition, which also needs to be cleared because it very well may not be, and probably is not, owned by the same owner of the sound recording. And so what happens is, if you are a producer of a film or a television show, you find out who owns the recording and who owns the musical composition. You approach them, you offer up the list of rights in terms of term, territory, the specific exploitations that you intend to make of your television show, of your film, and you ask for a quote, or you may offer a certain number that you are willing to pay. And that gets negotiated based on market rates and the leverage of the parties. Very often the rates are related between the composition and the sound recording by virtue of a clause that's called the MFN clause, the Most Favored Nations clause, whereby the publisher will say, well, I'll accept $50,000 for this synchronization use, but only if the recording is getting the same or less. I need to be treated on a Most Favored Nations basis with the recording. So you'll often see something like that.
So artists are taking more control over their careers these days with the internet. I mean, you can deal with an aggregator now and get your songs up on all sorts of platforms, including iTunes. Susan, are there any aspects of a typical artist deal that you can see that need special attention, where artists need to be concerned about the rights that are going up into the internet, or how they can better position themselves for becoming more successful?
Thanks, Bill. Yes, with new technology, but also the decline in the economics of the recording industry, artists are choosing to, and sometimes having to, take more control over their rights and doing things themselves. Obviously, the do-it-yourself model is not the be-all and end-all because there's a lot of music out there, and of course, the important thing is drawing attention to your music. But artists start as their own, what we call 360s. 360 is a very topical concept in the music industry these days because record companies and other players in the industry are looking to control more than just their traditional rights in the artist's career. They may be a record company looking to control publishing rights and management and booking live shows and merchandising. Well, the artist themselves is their own 360 when they start. They're their own manager. They own their own rights in publishing and recordings. They book their own shows and they do their own merchandising. They own their own brand. And so for an artist, they need to consider, A, I start from the premise that I'm my own 360. B, where do I need help? And what rights should I give up? And what's available given the current economics of the music industry? Of course, we'd like to only give up what we have to give up and get lots of money for it, but that's not necessarily going to work in today's music industry. And yes, there are companies that have built up to combine the force of many independent, perhaps smaller entities in terms of aggregating them and using their economies of scale to do better and bigger deals.
So would you think it'd be fair to say then that you want to make your deal as short as possible? Or does that really give enough time for a record to get broken or people to get behind you? Where's the sweet spot in terms of duration of a deal?
Unlike in the past when there was a development phase and money being invested, and although short was always better, it was more justifiable to grant a longer-term agreement. In today's day and age, when less investment is being made and more technological changes occur much more quickly, short is definitely the way to go in terms of a term of giving somebody the opportunity, or a player the opportunity, to get exclusive rights to try and make something in the music industry.
Well, thanks, Susan. That's been very useful, and it's been great talking with you today here at the Canadian Bar Association, Ontario Bar Association, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Bill.